Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different Homecoming Mum braids or chains. First one is the bubblegum braid, and you can see I've already made several of these. And if you're looking for longer video tutorials, I have video tutorials for all of these braids and chains, more in depth, but this is going to be one that will show you 3 in 1. A lot of people like a video that has multiple tutorials in one, but like I said, if you're wanting one to show from start to finish, I do have those available, and I will put cards across the screen, across the top right of the screen, and you'll just need to click on that or click on the little eye with a circle around it, and you'll be able to go to those videos. So I am using the 1.3 inch, also known as the 1 5/16 inch, also known as number 9 acetate or luster ribbon. Those are the two that I highly recommend. The luster is going to be a little bit less expensive. I think it's a crisper ribbon. I think it makes better braids if you're needing creases. So this is one with creases. The only issue is some colors don't match up exactly when you have luster and acetates, and a lot of times when you're ordering ribbon you can find one size in luster but not in another size, so you have to buy some in acetate, some in luster, and they're not gonna, some of the colors do match up perfectly, some of them do not. Burgundy here is one of those that does not, but when the mum gets all finished and made, you cannot tell a difference, especially if you're using different kinds of ribbons, because you're using, I know for me, I use soft satin ribbons, I use acetates, lusters, I use wired ribbons of all kinds, I use organzas, grosgrain sometimes, any kind of ribbon you can think of, I use on a Homecoming Mum. All of those colors are going to be a different shade of burgundy. It's just the way it is. And I'm sorry I did not describe what I was doing there. But that ribbon I cut at about 11 inches long. I found that that is about the perfect size for the length of that. Now this one is the candy cane, and I'm layering several ribbons. If you're just starting out with the candy cane braid, you might want to start out with just one single ribbon and then work up to 2 ribbons, and then you can start layering different sizes like I'm doing here. So what I've got is 2 of the 1 5/16, the number 9, but then I also have the 7/8 ribbon layered on one side. Now you can layer the 7/8 on both sides if you want, and that's, so I've got 3, you can have 4, you could keep layering, but make sure you've got it down where you can do it with 1 or 2 ribbons of the same size first, and then work your way up to more complicated. This is a bow maker. It cost around $10 on Amazon. It is in my Amazon store. Look in the description. You will find a link to my Amazon store. If you will use that to go to Amazon, it's just like a way into Amazon, and anything you purchase, I will get a very, very small commission on that. It does not cost you any extra. It's just a way for you to support me and thank me for these videos. So this ribbon maker, I wish I came up with this idea. I did not. Connie at the Southern Cottage came up with this idea using this ribbon maker, and there's different brands. I think me and her, they look identical, but she bought one brand, I bought the other one. But they were the same price, they look identical, they have holes in the same place. I believe I have my pegs, so you can move those pegs all around, and both sides of the ribbon maker have holes in it. But I believe I have mine about 3 inches apart, so I think that's about standard. You can make your candy cane braid where it's not as wide. You can even make it wider than this. And you just want to keep wrapping like I'm showing and keep moving the pegs. But these pegs are just, they make it so you can make these candy cane braids even. It's so much easier, because I have tutorials, of course, for the candy cane braid. I have one that's more in depth of this one, but I also have them before I was using a bow maker, and it took so much longer. It was so hard to get it perfect. So be sure to go over and thank Connie at the Southern Cottage for this wonderful idea. If you think you're going to be making some of these candy cane braids, buy one of these bow makers. Like I said, around $10. You will be so much happier. Like I said, it makes it so much easier. You just keep moving those pegs. Wonderful. Okay, last video, and this one's going to take the longest. This is a loopy chain. I think I've called it a double loop chain. I have so many loop chain tutorials, so many different ones, because you can do so many different designs with loops. This one is a simple one. I think you've got 2 loops that you're attaching side by side. Basically, you're kind of making them into an upside down V, and you can layer the ribbons like I'm doing, so you get a design on the outside of the loop and a design on the inside of the loop, or a color on the outside and a color on the inside. I think that looks better. I think it gives you more depth. It gives it more character. And then it also, if you're using like a grosgrain or a soft satin or something, it's not going to make as good of a loop. So if you back it up with a acetate or luster, it's going to make a better looking loop anyway. So I just form my loops and attach those together. So it's like I said, an upside down V basically. Staple that together. And I'm just going to make a whole bunch of these, and it depends on the length of your chain, how many you need, and then also how close together you're going to attach these on how many you need. So it's really difficult for me to say, okay, you need this many loops to make this size braid, because you can attach yours even just a hair closer together than mine, or a hair further apart, and you're going to need a different amount than me. So you're really just going to have to keep making them, and then, you know, eyeball it and see how many you need. I made a ton of these loops and then ended up making enough to make 2 chains. I just got carried away having fun making loops, so I had an extra chain. This is going to be my center ribbon, and for mine I need about, what was it, about 18 inches, because my chain needs to be 17 inches. So I needed an extra inch or 2 just to attach to the backer. But I need about 17 inches with the loops on it. And that ribbon right there is from Hobby Lobby. And I do have a more in-depth video of this one too. I actually have the entire mum that I made this chain for. I have a video for it, or maybe in 2 parts, but I'll be sure to put a card or a link at the end of the video as well. I'll put links at the end of the video. So there are going to be links all over this video for you to see more in depth, or more, you know, like I said, if you want to watch the whole mum process on this one, you can go to that. So what I do with any kind of loop chain, is I set all my loops out, and then I play around with it and lay them on the center ribbon and see how close together I want to attach them, how they're going to look, and that's when I start attaching them. After I've decided for sure how close together I want them and what direction I want to attach them, because you could move them all around, especially if they're single loops. You could do it so many different ways. Now I stapled them, but now I'm going to, you could glue it or you can staple it again. If you staple them, you're going to want to cover them with something, and I am going to show attaching some bling on there. So just make sure it's centered and it's even as possible, and then another staple. There you go. And one staple is fine. It's nice and secure. And I'm just leaving a little space between each one. On this type of chain, this design, I like to attach them a little bit spaced out and then all going in the same direction. I've made this design of chains several times. I really, really like it. And there, I believe I went back over them with the stapler again. I don't always do that, but it looks like I did on that one. So this is the flower shaped diamond mesh ribbon, and just cut individual ones and then glue them all to the center, and those staples are covered up and you've got some more bling there. And you got this nice unique chain. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment. Please be kind with those comments and be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and happy mum making.